Whitaker, thank you for appearing before us here today. Your time as Acting Attorney General is near end. After that, you may or may not be working for Department of Justice or another position within the Trump administration, but there are, of course, several congressional investigations that involve yourself. And I want you here today to pledge that you will answer any Inspector General questions and cooperate fully with his investigations even after you depart from your current position.
Are you talking about the DOJ Office of Inspector General?
Yes, the Justice Department's Inspector General is currently considering several congressional requests for information and investigations that involve you. Since you'll be leaving this position soon, I want you to commit here today in front of this committee that you will answer the IG's questions and cooperate fully with those investigations.
I'm happy to commit to that. I will cooperate with the Inspector General. Michael Horowitz is a fine DOJ career employee. I have the utmost respect for him. I think he's done exceptional work.
Excellent. Thank you so much. The impact of the government shutdown on the functioning of the Department of Justice, the law enforcement functions. Is it fair to say that the shutdown was devastating on the ability of the department to do their work?
The shutdown really was a difficult time at the Department of Justice because most of our employees are law enforcement and are accepted in their performance of their duties, and so they showed up every day like dedicated public servants and did their job, knowing that you here in Congress would ultimately pay them and come to some resolution of the shutdown.
We appreciate your recognition of that. I think every person up here in a bipartisan way would agree that the work of the rank and file members of the Department of Justice, FBI, the other law enforcement officials is outstanding. It seems appropriate then that the department did issue a memorandum saying that during the time of the shutdown, ancillary functions of the department that involve travel would be not allowed. Is that accurate?
I don't have that memo in front of me, but that is consistent with my understanding of our guidance in that regard.
On January 13th, 2019, in the middle of the government shutdown, did you travel to give a speech to the Heritage Foundation?
Congressman, this is an important question, but I want to be very clear. I have 24/7 security detail that drives me everywhere. And so the term travel, I'm not sure what you mean. I went to Capitol Hill to give a speech to the Heritage Foundation, yes.
Okay. Would you consider that activity, a speech to the Heritage Foundation, to be an ancillary function of the department?
Congressman, again, I had no other way to get to a speech that I had committed to give before the shutdown.
Thank you. The speech involved the topic of RFRA and the commemorate RFRA. In October 2017, during the time that you were Chief of Staff to the Attorney General, the Attorney General's office did issue guidance on federal law for religious liberty. The guidance involved expansion of exemptions to RFRA. At a religious liberty summit held in summer of 2018, Attorney General Sessions announced the formation of the Religious Liberty Task Force to further coordinate implementation of the guidance across the federal departments and agencies. It's fair to say that there's been limited public information on the task force and its work. The only public documentation is a 2-page memorandum issued establishing task force. Are you aware of any additional documents or guidance that further explain the task force mandate and processes?
No, I'm not familiar with any additional.
Do you know what the budget is of the task force?
I do not believe, as I sit here today, that we've actually effectuated the task force yet, and so I don't. It's going to be an internal task force that would have no specific separate budget.
Will you commit that during the remaining time that you're acting Attorney General to provide to this committee any additional details regarding that task force, which has been in place now for, I guess, 7 months or more?
Yes, Congressman, I will be happy to follow up in writing with you or someone from the Office of Legislative Affairs about that Religious Liberty Task Force.
Recently, HHS interpreted the RFRA to allow a Christian-based foster care agency that does receive federal tax dollars to discriminate against potential foster parent because they happen to be Jewish. Do you know if the Justice Department stands behind this HHS determination that a taxpayer-subsidized organization can discriminate against a Jewish individual?
I am certain that the Department of Justice will defend that position of a sister agency.